What up YouTube, Salvador Brakeman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And on this channel, we talk about crowdfunding, we talk about raising money for new businesses, for causes, for nonprofits, etc. And today I wanna get into what is Kickstarter, what is this website everyone's talking about, and how does it work? Put simply, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding website. I got involved with Kickstarter and learning about crowdfunding in 2012. Kickstarter started a few years before that. And sort of in the, I'd say the heyday, 2011 to 2013, we were seeing lots and lots of media attention when it came to crowdfunding and when it came to Kickstarter, seeing really cool projects being launched like the Pebble Watch, seeing phenomenal success stories, people raising millions of dollars, the Coolest Cooler campaign, and also some wild campaigns out there like the potato salad campaign where literally a guy raised $50,000 just to make potato salad. Kickstarter has become so much more mainstream than it was a long while ago, and I guess you were wondering, how can you actually use this to raise money for your dream, for your passion, for a new project, for an entrepreneurial vision or a venture? How can you use this, and how does Kickstarter fit into your life? And also, in terms of the backing angle, like how can you discover really cool new products on the website? The way that Kickstarter works is you have different categories that exist on the website. These categories sort of delineate, using a fancy word there, they delineate or they go into the different types of products that are offered on Kickstarter. So you have the technology category, you have design, you have gaming, and then you have sort of subcategories within those. You also have music, film, etc. I can include a link down below if you want to check out some of these other categories, but basically every single project on Kickstarter fits into one of these categories. Every single business out there, every single product has to fit into a category on Kickstarter. The other thing that sort of is notable about Kickstarter is that this is not a marketplace for ideas. This is not something where you're just raising money for an idea or you're raising money for a cause or a concept. So no ideas and no causes. This is different from GoFundMe. GoFundMe is all about causes. Maybe on GoFundMe you can also raise money for a business idea, or from an angel investor you can raise money for this idea that you have. On Kickstarter, you can only raise money for a project, for your intentions being, I've already created this prototype, I'm gonna show people the prototype, and in the future, we're going to use the money that we raise on Kickstarter to actually create this thing and ship it out to other people, which I'll get into in just a second. So you need to actually raise money for a physical, tangible thing. Now that thing could be a board game, a card game, maybe even putting on an experience like a theater campaign or a film project. You're raising money for something tangible that people can either buy or experience or get on their doorstep. It's something that's physical or tangible in some way. You can't raise money to support a cause or to just donate money to charity. It has to go into the creation of something. There has to be some kind of an end product, if you will. The other big thing that I think of when I think of Kickstarter is all or nothing fundraising. And this is sort of the hallmark of the website and how it differs from some of the other websites out there like Indiegogo. So what does that mean? All or nothing crowdfunding. What that means is that if you're trying to raise money on Kickstarter and you have a $10,000 goal, you have to meet or exceed that funding goal as a creator, or you're not going to be able to actually charge the credit cards of your backers. You're basically not going to be able to get any of that money. Unless you hit or exceed your funding goal, you're not going to be able to keep the money that you've raised. And for a backer, if you're supporting a project, you will only have your credit card charged if that project exceeds their funding goal. And this is called all or nothing crowdfunding. This is a hallmark of Kickstarter. Another thing that I would classify when it comes to the structure of Kickstarter is that there's also always a duration that these campaigns are running for. You're not just raising money over the course of a year. There's a fundraising duration, and usually this is about 30 days. It could go up to 60 days, or it can go lower, maybe on 20 days, but you usually see a funding duration of about 30 days. This funding duration is what creates urgency, and it also always has sort of encourages new live projects to come to light, because if someone hasn't raised money successfully over 30 days, that campaign has failed. They failed to raise money, and the creator has to decide, okay, we're gonna rework this campaign, we're gonna launch something else, and the backers can decide whether or not they wanna support that. So a funding duration, number one, it creates urgency, but number two, it also makes it so like, is this thing gonna happen or is this not gonna happen? You're not just waiting around and the site isn't just full of basically campaigns that are half funded. It's it's making so that this is either going to happen or this is not going to happen, and there's that urgency as well to prompt action in the side of backers. I keep throwing around this term backers. This is another key term with Kickstarter. So when you think of like a nonprofit campaign, you think of donors. When you think of people buying a product, you think of customers. On Kickstarter, it's called backers because these people are basically supporting a project that is going to ship to them, not within the next 3 days, the next 5 days, but typically within the next 2 months, the next 3 months, maybe even the next 4 months. These people are basically backing a creative project, and they're saying, we're going to put in our hard-earned money, and we also want to claim these rewards, and we're going to get that on our doorstep in a certain amount of time. Backers are the community that makes Kickstarter work. These are the regular people that are supporting projects, and we also have many super backers that are out there, they're called, that are supporting hundreds of projects. They're supporting 50 plus projects, people who really are interested in the Kickstarter ecosystem. They've seen lots of different campaigns. They're very familiar with how the process works. These backers are what contribute to Kickstarter's long-term success. Now, I have a great video out there going into the anatomy of a Kickstarter campaign, which goes a little bit more in depth, but I do kind of want to touch on that a little bit with this video, because talking about how Kickstarter works, you have to understand what are the components of a campaign. So every single Kickstarter campaign out there has a few different things. It has a pitch video, it has reward tiers, it has campaign text or the actual campaign page. And you can have some other stuff like GIFs, images, etc. And then you also have some of the other components there, like talking with backers, doing communication, logistics, figuring out shipping for your rewards. But the main ones here are the video and the rewards that you're offering. The video is meant to describe, pitch, and create interest for the actual product or the actual campaign. The rewards are what a backer gets when they actually support your Kickstarter campaign. I want to take a second to introduce you to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Fulfillment. Fulfillment is a turnkey solution for helping you get the products out there to your customers and to your backers. Whether you're doing a Kickstarter campaign or an Indiegogo campaign, eventually you're going to have to do order fulfillment and get those rewards out there into the hands of your backers. So what these guys do is they basically offer a streamlined service for you, and they take all that headache away. I highly recommend outsourcing this element of your campaign because it's going to make everything easier in the future. If you want to learn more about Fulfillment, I'm going to include a link down below in the description of this YouTube video. But in addition, you can also check it out on the web at fulfillrite.com, and you can learn more there. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the video. The reason why Kickstarter works is because it's not just a purely donation model. It'd be great if you decide, hey, I want to create this new board game or want to create this new fashion line or something like that. Would you donate $50 to my business? That doesn't usually work out very well. Usually you want to become an investor if you're giving money to someone else and they're then going to earn money with that money. With the way that it works with Kickstarter is the people that are backing the project actually then gain access to all these really cool perks and rewards, and they can then have a pre-order of that item. They can gain other things, maybe other like accessories if it's a fashion line or something like that. But depending on the amount that they donate, or they pledge rather, the amount that they pledge is going to determine which reward tier they gain access to. So maybe for $25 they get boots or something like that, I don't know. Or for $100 they get access to this really cool new sports coat, or whatever it is. But basically you are incentivizing people to buy into your idea via pre-orders using Kickstarter. So you're starting to get a little bit of an idea of what Kickstarter is and how it works. It's basically a fundraising site. You have to have a duration. You have to make it so you have a funding goal. You have to exceed that goal. You can't raise money for ideas or causes. We touched on all these things. What I want to get into now is sort of the timeline, because I want to give you an idea of what a campaign timeline looks like and some of the other factors that come into play. This is basically what a campaign timeline is looking like. I'm not talking about necessarily being live on Kickstarter. The first thing is you have the idea. Kickstarter, I usually like to start with a little bit after the idea. So we're going to start with the first stage here is you have a prototype. You've created a prototype of the product, and you're now ready to begin to show this to people, to create a video and to create interest. You have a prototype, you begin to create these assets like the reward tiers, the video, the campaign text. You're also doing a bit of pre-launch. So this phase is called pre-launch, and I have some great videos out there on YouTube. I also have a book called The Kickstarter Launch Formula going into the pre-launch, as well as some other stuff out there you guys can check out in my podcast. You have pre-launch where you're building a buzz for the campaign. Then you go live. When you go live on Kickstarter, the first week we're gonna say first week right here. This is the most critical element. You basically wanna try and get to 30% of your goal within the first week, if not more. This is really where the big launch happens. You're new, you're noteworthy, more people are discovering you, you're reaching out via social networks, you're trying to get contact with all of your friends and family, you're trying to get people basically in the door and getting a little bit of funding. You start to trend well on Kickstarter. After this initial first week, depending on how long your campaign is, I usually like to say that this is the middle, this is sort of the Kickstarter slump period where you're doing different things to try and maintain momentum, which I talk about in other videos. And finally, you have the ending period where you usually see another sort of jump in pledges. This is the ending period when there's a lot of urgency because the campaign is going to close, they can no longer gain access to rewards, and the funding period is going to end. After this component, you then have a bunch of different things here. So I want to change colors here and talk a little bit about some of the costs. So first of all, you're going to have costs related to the prototype. Under the pre-launch, you're going to have marketing costs. Throughout the campaign, you're probably going to have some marketing costs there. And then once you get to the end of the project right here, you're then going to have to fulfill all of the rewards that you're promising with your campaign. So you have all these different rewards. You're now having to fulfill these and ship these out to people around the world, to ship them out internationally, to actually go out there and manufacture in bulk quantity this product. So and a lot of the costs will come after this campaign. And in addition, during the fulfillment phase, you're also going to be hit with some of those different fees. So maybe you have the Kickstarter fees, which are at 5%. You then have credit card processing. That's going to vary, but that can be about 3%. And then you maybe have some other fees, like if you're using a survey tool like BackerKit or something like that. At this stage, when you've successfully raised money, this is when you have to be aware of, number one, you're going to have fulfillment costs. Number two, you're going to have the Kickstarter fees. You're going to have credit card processing fees, and then any other kind of fees that go into getting this product to your actual backers out there. I hope this gives you a good primer of what Kickstarter is, how you can use it, and specifically what the timeline looks like for a campaign, what a launch looks like. But there's so much more information, guys. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and that's one of the reasons why over the years I've tried to catalog all of this and to get this all digestible for you in my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, in my Udemy course, in other products that I have out there, and also individually with my coaching sessions. So I'm going to include some links down below of places where you can get started. You can also dive into this YouTube channel, check out some of the videos that I have out there, listen to my podcast, hear directly from people that are raising money right now, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars as we speak on Kickstarter, and I'm speaking directly with these entrepreneurs on my podcast. So a lot of great stuff to get started. The number one thing I want to leave you with is that if this is something that you think is important, if you want to become an entrepreneur, not even necessarily an entrepreneur, you want to create something and you want to share that creation with other people, you want to get feedback, you want to turn this idea that you have in your head into reality and get serious about it, Kickstarter is one of the best ways to do this. Crowdfunding is phenomenal for this, for bringing something that's in your head into the real world. And the number one thing that's holding you back is you just got to get started, man. You got to push through some of those negative emotions, the anxiety, the fear, and maybe, I don't know, the uncertainty, what's going to happen next, maybe having to put yourself out there publicly. There's a lot of emotions that come with that, but I'm here to help you. So I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, to turn on notifications, because I'm here to teach you and hold your hand every step of the way so you feel confident, you feel self-assured, and you have all of the tools in your arsenal to have an explosive launch on Kickstarter. Again, my name is Sal. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.